Don't pay a quarter, don't pay a dime, don't pay a penny, don't waste your time. If half a penny is all he asks, don't give him any. Lay off his tracks, my half a penny is what he'll say. Still a steep price, just walk away.
Good afternoon, Heat Nation, folks, Phuket, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of Pennies, and the host of this. It's going to be a pre-game Pennies. Why not? The truth is, like I said before, the last two videos basically talking about Bam, one of which I stood up and I miscalculated the distance and I realized, look, you know what it is? If people are going to see me the way they see me, if they're going to see that I have the teeth that I have, they're going to see the teeth that I have. It is what it is. I don't mind it anymore. I'm just going to put it out there like my esteemed brother Yaniv said to begin with, just be yourself. So, yes, it's going to be a pregame. Pennies going to play against the Charlotte Hornets tonight. Early game, which I like, 7 p.m. And I'm not going to be adding much to the Adebayo discussion, but I did want to mention one more point. One of Kobe Bryant's teammates said that Kobe Bryant had the opportunity of breaking that 70-plus point record in a particular game, but they were already blowing the other team out, so he just decided not to do it. And that is, again, about the ethical implications, etc. And he said, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to get it next time. And about a week later, he did get the 81-point game. Well, Bam Adebayo is not the type of player that is going to get 83 points or 81 points or even 70 points. I don't even think that he has a lot of 40 point game in him because this is not an offensive player. However, having the opportunity, like I said, he did it, and he wasn't going to wait until next game because it's not the kind of situation that happens. When you have the opportunity to chase greatness, I think Shaquille O'Neal said that, you go for it, children, you go for it. But okay, the Miami Heat is in a very interesting position, right? Because we have a few interesting games right now, right? We play the Hornets away, and then we come back home to play the Lakers for one game on Thursday. We go back away, play against the Rockets. Then we play at home against the Spurs. We play away against the Cavaliers, basically consecutively, right? On Wednesday, 25th and Friday, 27th of March. And we still have the Pacers. We have the 76ers, the Celtics. We have, I would say a couple of quote unquote, should be easy games. Washington Wizards, although they probably want to win against us one of those games, right? We'll see. But we do play the Celtics and the Raptors. And of course we play the Hawks. I don't think that that's so much of an issue in the standings. When we look at the standings, what is clear is that we are again in seventh place because we lost to the Magic. Magic swept us in an unusual 5-game series, and they won against us in the preseason twice. So basically, they own us, and I think they are probably the worst matchup for us, right? I don't think that there is. We have a better record against the Pistons and, of course, Oklahoma than we have against the Magic. And the Celtics remain to be seen because we haven't won against the Celtics, and we have this one more game to see if perhaps there is a chance. But we are probably not going to face the Celtics. So there are a few options. I'm going to kind of run by the scenarios that kind of make sense in my head, right? Miami Heat can very well stay in seventh place. They are at risk of falling to at least, ninth seed, and thus being the penultimate, right, in this playoff chase, in this play-in chase. But they are likely going to be in the play-in, and then in this case, they can play at home against either the Hawks or the 76ers. It's a one games, we don't comment. We comment about series. One games can happen. Anything can happen, right? People can get injured. I say hope not. People can get injured. People can go off and have an extraordinary night, 83 points, Bam Adebayo, for example. So, yeah, the play-in is obviously not where we want to be. There is, of course, a chance, especially because we faced the Raptors twice, that we are actually able to come up and over the Raptors and get to the 6th seed, in which case we would play against the Knicks in a 7-game series, which I think is a possible 7-game series. But that is only because I don't see the Knicks and the Celtics switching places, and I don't see anybody catching up to the Pistons, although if any team can do it, it will be the Celtics because of the amount of games still left in the season. There is also the possibility, and those are the real possibilities, of us actually getting into fifth place, right? What all we need is for the Magic to have a worse streak than we do in those last a little bit over a dozen games. So there is a chance that we get to fifth place, and if that's the case, we play the Cavaliers in a 7-game series again, a series that I trust. I don't. There is no team other than the Magic that I would completely say we're cooked in the series. So that would be interesting to see how things would turn up in the playoffs. Is it possible for the Miami Heat to get through the playoffs? Yes, it's possible. I did see that this team is better than last team in every single way. It just depends on whether or not they have injuries, whether or not they play in a certain way, and whoever is playing against them also needs to kind of pick it up. Generally speaking, those are the scenarios that I see, and I would prefer the Miami Heat to go on to the playoffs. Don't know what I can say. I honestly expect us to lose tonight. Bam Adebayo is not playing. Andrew Wiggins is not playing. Already ruled out, and Bam Adebayo is doubtful. Very bad idea to play him. Jovic is probable. Larson is probable, and of course everybody else is available for the Charlotte Hornets. Nobody really interesting, right? Is I don't even know. Jane Salon is out. You know, whatever. PJ Hall is on the G League. Antonio Reeves, G League, and Tazan Ebwomwan, also G League. I think that the main thing is not having Bam Adebayo. Of course, Khalil Ware is probably going to have to shoulder a little bit of that. The Charlotte Hornets are 34-34. They are exactly at 50%, 10th in the East. I don't see them going much up, but it's always possible. They're 17th in points per game, 115.5. They're 6th in rebounds per game for the six, about 26 and a half assists per game in 15th spot, and they are ninth in opponents' points allowed per game, 112.3. So a little bit of a better defense. We are second in points per game, 120.4. 7 in the East, 38-30. Second in rebounds per game, 47. Sixth in assists per game, about 28.5. And offensive points allowed, opponents' offensive points allowed per game, 20th at 116.5. Our pace is first, but pace being first normally translates into not such great teams. The top 10 teams, I mean, Pacers and Timberwolves, but even the Pacers, right? Especially the Pacers. Right now, honestly, really, the only team that can save themselves a little bit here is the Timberwolves. But yeah, Heat, Hawks, Bulls, Mavericks, Jazz, Grizzlies, Wizards, Trailblazer, Pacers, and Timberwolves are in the top 10 in pace. So pace just means that, especially with the defense that we had against Orlando, that first half, but that's why I say against Orlando, I don't complain about what happened in those 5 seconds for one reason. Not because it couldn't have changed a game, it could have. But what really could have changed a game is us not being completely humiliated and beaten and dominated, completely beaten and humiliated in the first 3 quarters of the game, but especially the first half. So I know there were a lot of doubtful calls. I saw one against Yakuchonis and Wagner there in the middle of the lane. It was right in the beginning of the game, I think maybe 10 minutes in. And then, they give the foul against Yakuchonis. When Yakuchonis was being pushed, it was just basically trying to walk, and Wagner was obstructing the way. That's just not acceptable. And then Yakuchonis kind of hugs Wagner because Wagner stops, and Yakuchonis just runs into him, inertia, and he gets that call against him. And everything kind of, in my opinion, everything went downhill there. I think the Heat were they suffered from the referee in this game, but that wasn't a reason we lost. We lost because we really allowed the Magic to do whatever they wanted to do. Their size, their ball movement allowed for them to do whatever they wanted to do as well, especially in the paint, and they just destroyed it. And they were shooting 7% in the first quarter, about over 60% in the second quarter. You can't really. Yes, we rallied, we came back together, but it wasn't a good game for us. I don't know. Maybe ring certain players, especially Norman Powell. Normally after an injury and him coming off the bench, which is not exactly how he started the season. chucking a lot of shots that didn't make sense, trying to foul bait a lot, which I don't like, but I love it when he gets it, but I hate it when we miss a lot because of that. So, hope we play better tonight. Again, don't expect to win, but it would be nice to win so we can, hopefully get out of that pack, right? Move on to the sixth place because, or the fifth place if we're tied right now, which we are 38-30 for both for us, the Raptors and the Magic. If we win and they lose, we would get to that fifth place and still have 14 more games, 13 more games left. I've counted. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible. It's a very complicated world of ours, and let's go Heat.